welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and today I am working on a limited pack build. I finally finished a build for Life and Death, and I'm actually pretty excited about it, although it's a little bit odd. I will say that I actually ended up doing like a cemetery home, and let me explain. So we have the new lot in the game that is like a cemetery lot, but this is a residential lot. And I say that because basically here on like the ground, I'm going to do like a cemetery build, and then actually underground is where the actual home is going to be. So I figured between having the new like Reaper and Undertaker careers, that you may have a sim that rather live underground, and they're like, you know, they would think it's really cool to like live on a cemetery lot. And like I said, technically not a cemetery, but it kind of looks like one, and I think it ended up looking really cute. And I figured it was also a good way to utilize a lot of the items from the pack, since obviously I don't know when else I'm going to use tombstones and this like crypt and everything. And I think it ended up looking really nice, and I was really excited with the way it turned out, because I actually ended up doing, like, I played with this pack kind of on my own, and I ended up having a sim that was like in the Reaper career, and what was it? I made her paranoid or something, and they would rather live underground and everything, which I thought was actually like kind of cool. So that's kind of where this idea came from, in case you were wondering. But I end up putting space for some like tombstones and like this like tiny little like graveyard area, and then I also have like a place to have services and all of that kind of stuff. So I really try to utilize like all of the stuff from this pack, and I think it turned out really well. And I utilized a lot of red colors in this. So again, this is just Life and Death and base game, and I did end up using debug as well. So in case you don't recognize some of the items from either base game or from Life and Death, it's probably from debug. And I tried to go ahead and plan out how your sim was actually going to get into their home before I started doing too much. I also know that if you start building underground like basements and stuff, and if you like drag the walls, I've had issues with before where it'll drag everything above it as well, which can definitely cause some issues when you're trying to build. So I tried to figure out exactly where your sim was going to go to their home before actually, having to deal with it later, and then it not working out after I do all of this work doing landscaping and everything on top here. And I think I do know that like in the middle there, that's actually, I think that's like a tarot card reading thing. I know that, but I just thought it looked really cool having that there. And I try to use like a lot of candles and everything. And I also used, it's one of the new like lot traits. I forgot what it's called now, but it ends up doing like the mist and everything on the ground. So I do add that to the lot because I think it ends up looking really cool. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it under my ID Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And I did play test it, so your sim should be able to get where they're supposed to go and actually be able to live here and not have any of those issues kind of thing. And I don't know enough about like cemetery lots to know if you could make this an actual cemetery lot and still live on it. I didn't actually try that because, like I said, I just left this as an actual residential lot. But of course, you're welcome to try that if you would like to, and see if you can get your sim to live actually on a cemetery lot, because that would be kind of cool as well. And just have like bunch of random sims coming by, I assume. Like, I feel like it would make it look a little more realistic and a little more lively, but for the sake of making sure it works like a residential lot, I left it as such. And I did end up adding just like kind of flowers everywhere, and we got like a singular like white like pillar candle, and I end up kind of putting those all over the place too to make sure there was some nice lighting out here. I do like making sure I have lighting when I do landscaping, and I also think it just kind of adds to the like ambiance of it being a cemetery. I don't know, like, although I don't know if cemeteries necessarily just have candles hanging out, but for the sake of the Sims, we'll say that, it does work like that, especially since candles, like especially these, don't burn out. I think, is it the ones maybe from Eco Lifestyle that you can actually like use up? Is that true, or am I totally making that up? Like, if you're someone who's actually played with that, I haven't really done any kind of like gameplay using candles in The Sims. Like, I don't even know if I really ever used the candle making station, to be honest. I don't even know if I really use it in builds either. So actually, let me know, do those candles actually like go away? Like, do you use them up? I feel like you might. I don't know. That just, I guess we'll see if one of you like actually tells me if that's true. But I do end up making this kind of like the service area over here, and I think it turned out really nice. And because I ended up using platforms and stuff, I think I ended up having to use like a debug fence piece there on the back, because I didn't like the way, like when I drew the fence, that it kind of like popped up, you know, because it was on the platform. I wish it would just kind of go on the back of the platform, if that made sense. So instead I just kind of used some debug fence pieces because I think it looked better that way. And then putting like seating out here, you know, for the family, that kind of thing, I think worked out really nicely. And then I think I figured out that there actually is a casket for this purpose, because I feel like I remember swapping it out. But I guess we'll see. I did actually make this build a little while ago. I know I just kind of talked about like I wasn't feeling well, so like I wasn't able to really do voiceover. So I did do this a little while ago. So, and I felt like too, like the base game build should probably go up first before I do this one, you know, for the Sims birthday and everything. And I actually really do like a lot of the items we got with Life and Death. Like, I mean, especially the kitchen stuff is like phenomenal. I really love it. I like all the counters. Anytime we get a counter that actually has interesting countertops, I'm really excited about. I think the ones from Home Chef Hustle, also several of those have like different coloration on them, as if they're like some granite or quartz or something that has like patterns on it. Like, I really appreciate that, to be honest, because I think it just adds a little extra something. And the ones that came with Life and Death do have like that really pretty marbling effect, which, I mean, I can't complain about. And all of the colors I feel like we got, the swatches, are very like gemmy and like rich tones, which is really exciting too, because I feel like for a while there I really loved, I didn't use them very often just because I feel like it didn't necessarily fit, but the counters that we got with vampires, that like emerald swatch that we have, was so pretty. But like, I don't know, I just felt like, because it was an older counter and it was like a vampire counter, it didn't necessarily, the style fit super well with everything, if that makes sense. So I didn't use it super often, but this one does have a really nice like emerald color. I end up using more of the like pink tones when we actually get to the home, like underground. But when I did do this gameplay like on my own, I ended up using that really pretty green color with everything, and it was so pretty. I was so excited about it. It was actually really funny. I tried to like build and do like a sim, like a starter sim, so like only using 20,000 simoleons, and that was so difficult because I wanted to use all of the items. like it is always really hard for me. Like, I do enjoy doing like kind of a rags to riches, but I don't know, that to me is like more interesting than just starting like with a starter sim. I don't know, I guess to me it feels more realistic to like start out with not much at all, I guess, unless you do like an inheritance, something like that, like if you're doing like legacy gameplay. But I don't know, let me know how you feel. And it could be too because I am like, I really enjoy building, that like it just, I don't know, that's what I enjoy doing. So having money and like, I just want to build. But it was really fun. I did enjoy doing some of that gameplay. Like I said, I ended up doing the like Reaper, I think it was the Reaper career. And then my sim ended up like marrying a sim who I put them in the Undertaker career as well. So I did both of those. And I will say, like, I did the Reaper career. Like, I actually went to work with my sim like a few times, but then ended up stopping. I just kind of like set her to work. I feel like I don't last very long in those careers that you actually go. I guess I don't actually last very long going with them. And then I end up just kind of sending them on their own. I feel like sometimes that happens with my sims too when it comes to like high school years. I end up like, I go with them for a little while and then I'm like, oh, okay, you can kind of go on your own. And I don't know if it's because lately I've been having like families that have a bunch of like kids. So it's like, I don't want to have to keep up with that many kids at high school, that kind of thing. But I don't know, like, let me know, do you actually like follow your sim like to work all of the time or to like school all of the time? And I think it would be really cool, we can follow our sims to high school. I wish we could like follow them to like elementary school. I think that'd be really cute too. I mean, I know the mechanic would be similar, but I still think it'd be really cute to have like an elementary school. Not to mention, could you imagine how cute the items would be? And on that topic, I did build like a teacher home, so that should be coming to the channel soon as well, which I was really excited about. I think maybe it's just because I just built that and I'm like, oh, everything would be so colorful and adorable. But I do end up actually swapping around the stairs a little bit because I ended up trying to make sure that there was some windows. There were a few windows in this build and there was some natural lighting, even though it was underground. I didn't want it to be like totally like without windows, if that made sense. So I end up using the windows, they remind me kind of like, I don't know, like a spooky old greenhouse. Like, I don't know, you'll see what I mean in a second, but that's like, I don't know, that's the way I would describe them. And I end up putting those kind of all over the place because they were also like full length windows, which is really nice and let in a lot of light, but I think they ended up looking really pretty. I do wish that they had like a clean swatch, like they're kind of like all of the swatches are kind of like rusty and that kind of thing, which I mean, it makes sense for the pack, but as a builder, like I really wish I had a variety of swatches so that I could use them in a bunch of different ways, if that makes sense, because I don't know if I would use that like on some of my other builds. I don't know. But like, again, being a builder, I just want all of the swatches. So like, that's no surprise there. And I do end up, like I said, trying to have a window kind of in every space just because, I didn't want it to be like they're a vampire living underground and they don't want any light kind of thing. And although, that would be interesting gameplay, I guess, to have a vampire living underneath the cemetery. I don't know, that would be kind of cool. And I did go back and forth a little bit about coloration, but like I said, I ended up going with like the pink kind of tones and it being actually a very nice space. I ended up loving the dining room. I think it ended up looking super lovely, and I ended up using this like sideboard, like table thing in there, which I thought was really nice. I also ended up using, I think I used like a mirror on the back wall in the dining room, which I think also helped kind of make the space feel a little brighter and a little bit bigger, even though this isn't actually really a huge space. Like I feel like this would be considered potentially like a tiny home, although with all the stuff that's like above, like it wouldn't necessarily like register that way in the game, if that makes sense. Like I know adding fences does some weird stuff, and oh, I totally forgot about the chandelier we got with this pack. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Although when I was playing with it, I did find that like sometimes when I used that chandelier, Sims didn't want to walk under it, like it would block their path. So I find myself sizing it down a lot to make sure that your Sim can actually get around, because I did like kind of run into that issue. But anyways, it still looks really good even sized down, so I was very excited about that. And then I do end up, I think I ended up like adding a little space. Oh, I ended up making the walls a little bit taller just because I really wanted to use this really pretty like curtain thing. I don't know what you would call that, but I think it ended up looking so nice over here. And I also ended up using this like statue that looks like it's like holding a platter over in the corner, which I don't know if I've really ever used. And of course, using the tarot cards. Oh, they're so pretty. And I love that there's so many swatches. So many swatches. Like I want that many swatches on every picture we get in the game. Like I would love that so much. Like, because I feel like sometimes it's just, I don't know, I want more variety. But again, there's so many items in the game. I'm asking like for a lot, but still I'm going to keep asking for them because that's what I like. And like I said, so kind of like using some of these pink tones in here. And then I'm trying to remember, I think I end up leaving the kitchen with this like warm wood tone. I believe I do, to kind of break everything up because I felt like there was a lot of that pink color kind of going around. And I'm not going to lie, I love that fireplace. I really do. Except I wish it didn't have a skull on it. Or if there were swatches that had some with and some without. Only reason being, like, I don't know if I'm going to be putting that in like a regular family home or like for a lot of Sims. I don't know if that really matches like what I would envision their house looking like, if that makes sense. So again, just like more swatches. I feel like that's the theme. I want more swatches. And I end up, what is it? There was a music box or something, which I didn't realize came with it until actually I was doing this build. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So we end up kind of putting that in the hallway table there. And oh, I just realized there is okay, did I fix it? There's a piece of wallpaper missing. I'm hoping I fixed that. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm like getting worried. I really hope I noticed that and fixed it, because I'm sure you all have noticed. And I'm assuming I did. It's just been a little while since I built this, so I just can't remember if I did or not. But I do love the rugs too that we got with this pack. It just like, oh, they're so pretty and like they're, I was gonna say vibrant, but I guess maybe that's not the right. The deep tones, those deep jewel tones, are just so pretty, and the wallpapers and the paneling we got are just, they're gorgeous. Like I really like the items we got in this pack. And I do know, hopefully we have really good items coming in the new expansion pack as well. Fingers crossed. They've been doing, I feel like, a really good job giving us like really high quality items that just look so nice. I'm really hoping we're going to get some really cool items again. And because like I said, like the past several packs, we've had really amazing items. So, that's what I'm really hoping for. And I feel like am I still behind probably on pack specific builds? I feel like I definitely have. Oh yeah, it's Love Struck. I am like working on one. I don't know. Every time I do it, I just get like, I don't know. I'm not inspired to finish it. So hopefully I will actually finish that soon. I'm actually working on one of the penthouse like apartments oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of that city. It's fine. I'm sure it'll come to me later after I'm done talking for this voiceover. And then I was back and forth about like having the bathtub on a platform like that, but I ended up taking it down. I have done that before and it worked fine, but I don't know. There was just something, it didn't like work quite right. I will say I spent a lot of time on this bathroom. I ended up having to like pause my recording, and then I would do it some more and then pause my recording just to kind of really get it to look right. Like, I don't know what it was that was bothering me. I don't know. I think maybe it was the tall wall height, which I wanted in the rest of the house, especially for like the fireplace and everything. But I feel like tall wall height is hard in a bathroom because I guess unless you kind of put mirrors everywhere or like giant art, or it's like a big bathroom, I feel like it's just harder to deal with that. And then I think I ended up putting one of the new like decals we got on the wall, which I thought was actually pretty cute. So just like adding like something a little bit extra. And we do end up putting like an office area in the bedroom as well, so your sim has access to computer, everything. And before I forget, I did end up putting that new portrait picture frame in the bedroom, which is really cool. It's a lot like the Ravisheen mod, which I have used a lot, like doing like a family portrait, and you can change, like in the mod, you can change the outfits and that kind of thing, which I love that so much. So it's really nice that they added something like that in the game. However, it's so ornate. I wish it had, like, I wish we could get more. Like, I would love for them to add like a base game version of that, because I feel like it's so important, like, to have that. I feel like a lot of people want to have portraits for their Sims. But the reason I was bringing that up was I put it here in the bedroom. But what ended up happening was there were Sims on this lot, and so it auto-filled like a portrait of them. So in the screenshots you'll see, and it looks really cool because it ended up being 2 ghosts. Like, it looks really awesome. However, when I went to go put it on the gallery, it tagged it as CC. So if I uploaded it like that, it would like make it to where it would be really hard to find this build. So in the version that I uploaded, I end up having to delete out that picture frame. So you may want to add that back when you download it, if you decide to download it. But I just thought I'd warn you that it is gone, and that's because it ended up trying to see it as CC, which is a little bit frustrating because it does the same thing when your Sims paint something and it sees it as CC. Although I don't actually know if you really have any issues like downloading it. Like, I don't think it actually deletes itself like it does with CC, but it'll tag it as CC, which means it's just harder to find. So anyways, that was a long-winded explanation as to why it will be missing when you download it, but it does look really cool in the screenshot, so I was excited about that. And then of course I went to upload it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. That's the thing. So I ended up adding just a bunch of stuff in here, which that chest, oh my gosh, I had it in a build recently and your Sims just put stuff in it and I didn't realize it. Like, like I ended up having like a bunch of dirty dishes and stuff in that, which is a little frustrating because it's so pretty, but your Sims just put things in it. Like, does anybody know of a way to keep your Sims from doing that? Because I really want to use it, but it was a bit frustrating. Because then it's like I just have stuff, or like they would cook something and put it in there. And then I don't know, they just wasted money because I had no idea where it went. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.